This is Grant Harrison from the Waterboyz here with Tyler Newsome. Tyler, what about the water?
No, that's some high quality H2O right there.
Season 3, episode 11 coming at you. First of all, welcome back, Juddy.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
I missed you.
Been a long week.
Yeah, long week indeed. Anyway, we got some baseball to talk about. Not what you'd expect in November, but Blue Jays just made a massive trade.
Yeah, Teo sent to the team that put us out. Teoscar Hernandez goes to Seattle in exchange for reliever Eric Swanson and a minor league pitcher. Now,
The number 8 overall prospect from Seattle.
and they're paying, and he was in the Blue Jays' future games a few years back. But no, he's a guy that is a shoot low, possibly very high reward, depending on how he comes out. But Eric Swanson, they add a bit to their bullpen that they needed. A guy who's got had an elite season, his best season coming off in Seattle. High strikeout percentage. I think he had 70 Ks throughout this year, 170 ERA. So they got a reliever that's definitely going to help them out. But do you like losing Teoscar?
No.
No?
No.
He's going into a contract year, too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you could have gambled on him going into a contract year and having a big season.
yes. But who fills the role that Teoscar is now gone? Do you go after Cody Bellinger?
As soon as I saw that he got non-tendered, I was like, he's got the vibes that would fit in perfectly with the Blue Jays team.
Hopefully.
MLB free agency is so odd that, and especially this year, we're seeing even rumors of Aaron Judge going to the Mets.
Well,
You know, like,
the Dodgers also, like...
you're going to see crazy stuff like this. So, my advice to you Blue Jays fans, both of you, just give up. Pick a different team. Like, you guys are going to suck now. Like,
What about your Cubs?
hey, I'm a diehard.
Exact same thing here. Okay.
I literally wore a Blue Jays jersey every episode of this podcast.
Where is it today?
He's at home.
Exactly.
Islanders cheddar, man. You gotta rep the Isles now. It's hockey season. But free agency's looking pretty good. There's a lot of big names out there, and like you said, it's wild. Like, we got rumors of guys signing for $45 million for 1 year.
This is why I love no salary cap. Because you see some great players go to some odd places. There's just no rules.
I
love it.
45 half a billion.
Trey
Or half a
Turner
hundred
was, or Seattle apparently checked in on Trey Turner.
He wants to go to Philly.
Yeah, well, that would make the most sense for both teams.
Yeah.
Or for both parties.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go back to Cody Bellinger because this is like an MLB, who was an MLB MVP at one point, and his second or first year in the league. I think it was his first full year in the league. And then he kind of went down a hill and never came back out of it yet.
He's a left-handed bat.
Is he worth it?
If they can't get Brandon Nimmo, I think Cody Bellinger is your next best.
I would like them to sign Cody Bellinger, but I don't know if he's worth it. Like, do
Well-
you take the chance on him if you can't? Basically, he's a second option right now, I think.
Hey, that's what I mean. If they can't get Brandon Nimmo, they're going for Cody Bellinger. The only downside right now with Nimmo, he gets on base, which is beautiful. He doesn't strike out a lot, which is also what the Jays need. That checks 2 boxes. The only iffy thing about him is he's injured for about 25% of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is something the Jays already don't need in the outfield with how George Springer's years usually go.
And I think another thing is if the Dodgers don't get Aaron Judge, which they are making a big run for him because they cleared up $100 million in payroll. So look out, Aaron Judge. They're going to offer you a big contract. I hope you turn it down, though.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to spend too long on baseball because, like we said, it's November, and we just saw a wicked football game. I think Juddy loved it. I wasn't a fan of it. It was just 10-3, man. Your Patriots won. Congratulations. But it was just 10-3.
It was lower than Super Bowl 53 scoring, which was 13-3.
Yeah, I didn't say that was a good game, but I didn't say this was good either, but you were going nuts.
I wasn't going nuts.
You weren't going nuts. Our neighbors probably called the cops.
I wasn't going nuts until 9 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Oh, you were going nuts long before then.
Well, nuts isn't bad.
Yeah.
Because we punted the ball, I don't know how many times. I think it was 8 in total. Us and then the Jets 10.
The Jets had more punts than they had offensive yards.
Yeah.
That was just rough to begin with. That's a rough game. Now, my beloved Patriots, though, in a must-win situation where the division is so tight. I mean, if the Jets won, they were going to first place in the division. If they lost, which they did, they go to last place in the division. So that's how big of a swing it was, this game. But with 9 seconds left, it's tied 3-3. Jets punt us the ball. Our rookie, Jones, in the backfield, gets the ball, hits a few blocks, and takes her to the house for a house call with 5 seconds left in the game, and I can't believe it.
The first punt return touchdown in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
And it comes and it ends probably the most garbage offensive game in the NFL this year.
Whoa.
Okay, I don't think it was a bad offensive game. I think it was a great defensive game.
Yeah.
It was
That being said,
Like,
Justin, Justin, you're not safe
just
yet.
well, just before you go on to your next point, 10 sacks in the game. So to allude to your great defensive game, yes, it was great.
Yeah. I think the reason the defensive game was so great was because the offensive line just took a day off for both teams.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm saying yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Neither team has
Exactly.
an elite quarterback, and when you don't have an elite quarterback who can't can't make Patty Mahomes plays, can't make Josh Allen plays,
Just hold
and
on.
you end
hold
up
on
with
a
that
second.
kind of a crapper of a game when you
He
don't
was
have the offensive
22 for
line.
26 today and had 270 passing yards, I'm pretty sure.
How many touchdowns?
There's 0. It doesn't matter about that.
It doesn't matter.
Whoa,
In the
whoa.
second half, he
How
was
many-
3-0, 3-0, 3-0,
How
I'm
3-0.
Swedish, no finish.
How many...
We're not on this. I know where you're going. We're not on this. We're focusing on your Patriots.
No,
Okay,
we're
before we move on to the Broncos, I want to say this.
We're 6-4.
Offensive line was Swiss cheese today.
Yes.
Can't complain about mustard on your bread when you got Swiss cheese on your sando. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Anyway,
I like that one.
rip into the Broncos now because I'm for it.
No, there's nothing to rip into them yet because they're about to play. They're playing right now.
Yeah, they could be 4-6, which
With
is
some-
less awful than 3-6.
Ugly
Yeah,
uniforms.
3-7.
What do you mean?
3-7.
Ugly uniforms.
That orange and
3-7.
navy blue is beautiful.
It's about. I'm gonna give it a 70%. 7 out of 10.
I'd give it 8.5 out of 10.
What are we
That's
rating
pretty
it?
high.
The unis.
The uniform.
Oh, like 2 out of 10.
That's because he's a Chiefs fan.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it's not because of
You've
who I
worn the
represent.
exact same red and white
No,
garbage
the
since you've been a
only- the
team.
only thing I wanna say-
Listen. The only reason the uniforms are so bad is because they look like the Bobby Boucher Waterboy uniforms.
We have 2 things to mention here before we move on from the
What's
NFL. The Eagles lost in a Monday Night Football game, which we all did not expect
Against
or
the
see
Washington
coming.
Commanders.
Yes.
We did not see that
Holy-
coming. But they just won again today. They're 9-1. They're still rolling.
Yeah, but they won by a point over the Colts.
But I don't think like
Colts
it's.
are hot.
But I also don't think that the Eagles have anything to worry about because I think if you keep on winning, then it keeps on like bringing up the question like how much of a pressure is it to go undefeated? Like I think that builds a pressure within the team that they feel like they have to go undefeated. So I think losing a game is actually okay.
Yeah.
But going to 9-1, I think they're back on track now. Now the other thing I have to say is, before the season started, all 3 of us can sit here and say, and if anyone wants to disagree with this, go ahead. But we probably have it on film that everyone agreed on this. One of the few things we've agreed on, that the AFC West was going to be the best division in football.
Yes, now it's pretty dog water.
The worst division in football.
Hey, you still got a good team there.
Okay. But from where we had built it up, and everyone, I don't mean just us, everyone built it up.
100%.
It has to be the biggest letdown in NFL history.
Yeah, we even thought the Raiders were going to be good.
I thought all 4 teams were going to be basically like the AFC East.
Yeah.
All positive records.
No.
And the Chargers are not what we thought they were going to be. Like, they're the second best team in the division, but...
And you thought Justin Herbert was going to be NFL MVP.
Well, I did.
I mean, being second in that division is like, I don't even know what it's like, but it ain't an accomplishment at all.
You do know what it's like before Patty Mahomes showed up to Kansas City. So don't sit here and say that you don't know what it's like to be not.
Yeah, dissing my Broncos uniforms when they have more history and a pinky toe than the Kansas City Chiefs have in the entire franchise.
Right,
how many elite quarterbacks do you got coming out of there other than a guy who can't even keep his legs straight?
Oh my gosh. You're not even going to start with me on elite quarterbacks coming out of Kansas City. John Elway and Peyton Manning is all you got.
Russell Wilson is borderline.
Oh my gosh, no.
Maybe not playing good right now, but he's
given Seahawks audibles, bro.
He has more milestone points than Mahomes has yet. Mahomes is going to pass him.
It's because the time's been... Oh my gosh. Anyway. I like
Go back and forth. Come on. Just feed it.
Russell Wilson has got like 5 more years on Mahomes? Exactly. That's the milestone.
Mahomes is playing catch-up.
And what did Russell Wilson do in the Super Bowl? Jack diddly. Mahomes won one. Dang it.
Wilson's got a ring.
Wilson does have a ring. I'll give him that.
He does, yeah.
Yeah. Eat on that.
And you know what they both have
because
in
of
common?
defensive effort.
You
How about
that? You know what you guys can agree
on.
that would
Dude,
have
got a Super Bowl L.
Whoa.
Because you couldn't beat a 45-year-old Tom Brady.
Can I say something?
Let's hear it.
Both of your quarterbacks have in common that they lost to the GOAT, Tom Brady, in the Super Bowl. Let's just call it what it is. They're both not the greatest of all time.
It's Tom Brady. Yeah, I'll take that loss.
Yeah, okay.
Mr.
Good.
CFL future.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, also, I think, are we done with the NFL? I think we're done with the NFL talk. I mean, I'd like to move on.
One more spin back to the Philadelphia Eagles. Their receivers lost them that game against Washington. Not Jalen.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I just want to give a mention that the 109th Grey Cup will be taking place tonight in Saskatchewan between the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah.
The Blue Bombers...
you want to talk about a team with history. Sorry.
The Blue Bombers are looking for a 3-peat.
7 teams in the league.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, they're looking for a 3-peat, guys. I mean, it'd be crazy if they got it done.
Ooh.
I'm personally cheering for the Toronto Argonauts, though, to pull out with the victory tonight. I mean, do you guys even...
Name me 2 players in the Toronto Argonauts.
I can't name you those.
Go Blue Bombers all the way. I can't name any players either.
Dude. Zach Caleros is their starting
Zach
quarterback.
Caleros is their starting quarterback for the Blue Bombers. That's all I can
Oh, and they have Banks on Toronto, one of their receivers.
You can buy a bucket of donuts at the Blue Bomber Stadium, and that's the only reason
This
I'm
is
going
like
for.
the one
Anyway.
sport that I don't watch just because I enjoy watching the NFL more. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. All right.
But
Who's been killing it more? Boston Celtics or Milwaukee Bucks?
Bucks.
I'm saying Boston.
I would have to agree with Grant, I would think.
Bucks were the last undefeated
I got the
team
stats guy on my side. That's a win.
Bucks were the last undefeated team in the NBA.
I get that, but...
How many rings does the Celtics have in the last 5 years?
Here we go. Here we go.
The Bucks have won.
Why are we talking history
The
right
Bucks
now?
have won.
The Greek... did you see the Greek Freaks confrontation after
Yes.
the 76ers game?
I was hoping this was where Grant was going with this. Yes, it was pretty interesting.
Giannis tossed a ladder, Harold
Over a
stole ball.
ladder. Over a ladder and free
but you
throws.
guys aren't getting the full story then.
Let's hear it.
Like, after the game, he went, I think, 4 for 15 in the game shooting free throws. Missed 11 of them. So after the game, he wanted to work on his free throws. Understandably so after losing the game and, missing 11 free points.
About ready to hop on a plane, leave on a high note.
So he's doing his post-game stuff and just working out. And Montrezl Harrell, bench player, used to be actually pretty good in the NBA.
It was 6th man of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, he won 6th man of the year with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Came out, wasn't having it. Asked if he could shoot around. I think Giannis asked him, from what I understood, Giannis asked him if he wanted to partake in just shoot around or like workout that he was doing. And Montrezl Harrell said, no, this is Philly, get out of here. So after a free throw, Harrell grabbed the ball and just took it over to the corner and walked away. So Giannis, he wouldn't give Giannis the ball back, and then Giannis came back with another ball, went back to the locker room, got another ball, and then the Philly Wells Fargo Center, I think it is what it's called, the stadium, employees came out and pushed the ladder in front of the net so Giannis couldn't shoot. And
Giannis, they had to take camera gear down.
Well, Giannis was pretty pissed about that.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean,
do you think Giannis' actions are justified, or do you think they were overreacted?
100%. He had a bad day, a bad game, and he just wanted to get better before he went home. Simply put, basketball's a mindset. And you got to win the mindset before you go to sleep. And that's what he was just trying to do. So when he takes his loss, goes to the other side of the court, and there's the ladder. You could see it in the background when he was shooting and talking, that the ladder was there. You just got to ask him, hey, could you guys move the ladder? I just need a couple shots. That's it. 5 to 10 minutes.
He did try to move it once, and then they pushed it back in front of it, and that's when he threw it.
So I think his actions were justified. I don't think there was any reason for the Wells Fargo people to be... I think it was just like, you're on the opposite team, like, get out of here.
Yeah. And it's also, you're an employee at the stadium. You got to get back and let the athletes do their job. You're there for them. Anyway.
I think you're not wrong on that.
Yeah.
Now, the Toronto Raptors, they've been dealing with some injuries.
Yeah, every game.
Every game. I don't think have they ever played their full roster this season?
Haven't had a healthy lineup yet.
I don't think so.
Is Siakam back from injury yet? How long is he going to be?
I think another week.
I think he's day to day right now.
Yeah, actually, because he got injured 2 weeks ago now, I think.
Yeah.
So
little promotion there from IR to day to day.
Yeah, so
congrats.
Scotty Barnes is on fire right now too, so you got that.
Yeah, and then Fred VanVleet, is he out or in right now?
He played last night.
He played last night. It's a question mark with him right now if he's gonna play or not.
It's a tough loss last night.
Yes.
That was a bad way to go. I love the Hawks too, but that was a bad way to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
0.6 seconds left on the clock, I'm pretty sure. When
it was kind of like watching a punt return first punt return in the NFL. It was kind of like that in the NBA.
Yeah, it was pretty atrocious.
It was even on a note, it was like who else was guarding you? 4 players in the offense.
On a positive note, the Raptors are in the playoffs, and KD, Steph, and LeBron are...
Enough of this. It's what? They're 15 games into the season.
The Raps are in the playoffs. Yeah. That's what you're talking about.
They're in a playoff spot right now.
May I remind you of the date?
Literally what I was just saying, yeah.
We got a long
November 20th? I'll mark this.
Yeah.
Raptors.
I don't doubt that they will make the playoffs. I'm just saying that to say that they're in a playoff spot right now, standings don't matter right now.
Yeah, no.
So you don't think the slow start to the Nets or Lakers or Golden State is affecting the rest of the season?
I don't think the start to the Lakers or the Nets season is anything like close to being surprising. The Nets have the most toxic locker room in the NBA. Their entire organization screwed the pooch when they signed Durant and Irving. The Lakers are old. They suck too.
So would you say I wouldn't say Kevin Durant's costing the Nets, but I'd say Kyrie Irving's kind of...
Durant wants another trade out of there. He's just... everything is wrong in the Nets organization. They can't do anything right. They're just rebuild. Get out of there. Simmons sucks too. I don't know.
All right. Tell us how you feel about the Nets.
I didn't know Nets were that much of a hot button issue for you.
Oh,
yeah,
I think
a bit of a
no. I think they are as well. I think that there's a big problem in the NBA with the Nets right now, but I still think that the bigger issue is the Lakers' first round pick this year is unprotected, and it's going to the New Orleans Pelicans. So, cheers to Lakers fans, because you guys probably are giving up the first overall pick this year.
And probably giving up next season too.
So, with that note, I think we need to move into our last topic of the day before we introduce our interview with Silly Robbie, comedian, I would say, curler. Went to the Brier 4 times. He's also filling in for play-by-play when George Matthews, a former guest, isn't doing the role. Not much else to say there, but in terms of hockey right now, there's a lot to say.
Hunter's Ale House.
What?
Oh, I just forgot to do the ad read last week, so I didn't want to forget. I just thought of it. Hunter's Ale House! Thank you for sponsoring Season 3. Big screens, big meal deals. Get down there for some cold bevs and warm food. Hockey, though.
That was great. I love the ad reads. Like, you're getting just as good as Biz Nasty out there.
Bro, I should just like do their radio ad reads. Like, that'd be wicked.
Anyway, in hockey news right now, what is happening? I think Taylor likes what's going on in hockey right now.
Yeah, the Devils are unreal. 12 straight W's. Took down the Leafs the other night. Took down the Sens last night.
All thanks to former
Canadians as well.
Yeah. All thanks to former Waterboyz guest Ryan Graves. Graves, if you're watching, I'm sure you're not. You're a busy man, but keep it up, buddy. We're supporting you here on the island.
He is having an unreal season. It kind of looks like his breakout year with the Colorado Avalanche, where he went plus 40 that year.
You know who's not having a great year in the plus minus?
Who?
Second worst plus minus in the league, Ovi. He's a negative 13 on the year.
Really?
Alex Ovechkin has 17 points and he's a negative 13.
Speaking of greats from that era, did you see Sidney Crosby might want to end his career in Montreal?
I don't care about Sidney Crosby. He's a baby.
You don't care about Sidney Crosby?
No, I was never a big Crosby fan. I think he's overglorified.
Good player.
He's really great.
So you don't think he's the best player in this generation?
Ovi.
You don't even think for a second between Ovi and Sid.
Ovi.
Like, no debate.
Ovi.
There's no debate.
Ovi.
Not even a conflicting thought. Not even when you go to sleep at night. Like, maybe Sid's got some talent.
Ovi.
It's Crosby all day.
Ovi.
You're not.
It's
fella.
Crosby.
The great eighth.
It's Crosby.
Ovi.
It's Crosby. Sid the kid. Sid the kid.
Anyway,
the man who couldn't take even a tap on the shoulder without getting concussed.
He had concussion problems. You can't.
He's
knock
the
someone
softest piece of bread in the NHL.
Gretzky didn't take hits, and he's the greatest player of all time.
Gretzky was in a different era, and he's the GOAT.
Okay,
yeah, but he can actually do stuff.
I think, personally, that you are crazy for
Ovi
saying
is better than Sid. Sid is top 3, but Ovi's better than Sid.
He made a good point with the Nets talk.
Ovi won, Sid 2.
Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to argue with that because that's just crazy.
What's crazy about him? What wins
Sid's,
over...
Sid's so much better.
Tell me again, who's going for the record for most goals all time?
Ovi?
Yeah.
Right.
Who has more cups?
Cups? Okay, hockey is a team sport. It's all about who is surrounded by it. I'm not saying cups don't matter. I'm not saying cups don't matter. But it's also about the team. Hockey's a team game, and just because Sid had a better team around him doesn't mean that he's a better player than Ovi. Ovi got his cup. Ovi's on the pace to potentially... Yes?
You think that Sid had amazing teams around him?
Sid is great. Sid was the best player on all those teams, but he also had better teams around him than Ovi did.
I don't think so.
You also think
I think Crosby's top line wasn't as good as what Ovi's top line was.
That's why I'm saying team game. It's all-around team, not just one line.
And you also think Ovi has the slightest chance of catching Crosby in the cup race?
No.
Yeah, like
Washington's not. Ovi's not going to get another cup.
You just said Ovi has a chance to catch up.
No,
I said the scoring race.
Yeah, scoring. Like he's. I think he'll break the scoring record, but the scoring record doesn't mean as much as winning championships.
Individual records don't mean as much. I just think Ovi's the better player on the ice.
You got to look at apples too.
And another thing is with Sidney Crosby, he's played I don't know how many less games. I think it's 100 and some less games, and they're tied for the same amount of points. Even Crosby might be pulling ahead now. They were tied the other night when they played each other.
Personally, if there's a fantasy draft, though, I'm just taking Ovi over Crosby. That's just personal opinion. It's like the Jordan LeBron debate.
I
take Ovi over Crosby.
But Jordan and LeBron didn't play at the same time. Sid and Ovi are playing at the same time right now, and you gotta look at both unbiasedly.
I
don't think he's looking at biasedly, but I think that. Sid, I think Ovi's a great player. I'm not going to discharge that.
No, me neither. I'm saying he's goal biased right now.
I think that the individual stats don't matter as much as what the championships matter.
Ships matter. Opinion. Yeah, Pittsburgh has the ships.
And he has a Conn Smythe. I don't know if he got the second Conn Smythe or not. But I do think that...
Ovechkin's got a Lindsay. He's got the Hart. He's got the Conn Smythe. He's got the ESPY Awards.
ESPYs don't matter. ESPN doesn't know anything about hockey.
All those trophies that he has, Sidney Crosby has 2.
I just listed. He's won them on multiple occasions. He's won the Maurice Richard at least 3 times.
I know he hasn't like he's won.
He's got a cup.
Yes.
Crosby's got more cups, but just because he's got more cups doesn't make him a better player.
Okay, let me say this. You said hockey's a team game.
Mm-hmm.
Crosby has nearly 300 more assists than Ovi.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a team player.
Does he make people? Who makes people on the team better?
Ovi's the sniper. Crosby's the playmaker. Then
Yeah, okay, but who? Makes
Ovi's only a
who makes
sniper on
people
OT.
better? Who makes people better?
I think Ovi makes his team better. Crosby makes players
no,
better.
don't even. You can't. No. What? How are you saying that Ovi makes his team better than what Crosby makes his team?
What is Washington without Alexander Ovechkin? Ovi had plenty of apples too in his days.
They're nothing. But what's Pittsburgh without Sidney Crosby?
As we've seen in years past, they've done just fine when he's injured.
And did they win cups?
I don't know.
No. They've never won a cup without him.
Mm-hmm.
So what Sidney Crosby, I personally think makes players a lot better around him and gets people... When you're playing with Sidney Crosby, you're a point per game.
Ovi's a pretty good guy in the locker room, too. You ever seen how he gets him fired up in the tunnel? Crosby's like Captain Serious.
That's what you need. If your ship's sinking all the time, you need a good captain, and that's what's it is.
How is Ovi not a good captain if he's got the fun lighthearted side too?
I'm not saying that he's not a good captain. I just personally think that I'm not disregarding Ovi whatsoever. Ovi, I want to make it clear, Ovi's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
But Sid is just a better one.
I'm saying 2 completely different players. But you say hockey's a team game, Sid's a team player.
And Ovi's not?
I don't think...
Stats aren't always the most meaningful part of hockey.
You were just talking about the goal race, bro.
Because that's a historic moment. You're just talking season-to-season assists.
These aren't season-to-season. These are career assists.
Okay.
Wait, so... I'm so lost on what you're arguing then because...
I don't know either. I'm so tired.
Because if you're saying that Ovi is better... And he makes the team better. How does he make the team better, other than scoring for the team? If he's minus,
like I said, just
if
his
he's
personality.
minus 13 this year, what's he doing?
Because that's this year.
What's he doing then? This year?
Washington's not good this year.
And is Pittsburgh?
Because he's not making the team better.
No. Pittsburgh's not even in a playoff spot right now either.
Exactly. And what's Crosby doing?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh.
Crosby's over a point per game.
Okay.
Just like normal.
Good for Crosby. So is Ovechkin.
But he's minus 13. Crosby's not. I'm pretty sure Crosby's in the positives right now.
Well, look it up before Mr. Assumption over here, stats guy.
Sid has 14 more points in his career, more than Ovi.
14 more points.
There's no way that's true.
I just looked it up on StatHub.
Because that's a huge number.
Crosby is minus 3 on the year.
He's still a negative. You said positive.
So he has 23 points in 18 games
5.
this year.
My math was wrong. 5 more career points.
Yes, he just passed them.
Yeah.
They were tied the other night when they played each other. But anyway, I think we need to leave the debate up to the people that watch this because this was pretty heated. I mean...
All I'm saying is Crosby's a centerman, and that's a way harder position, too. So
What makes it a harder position?
You're skating more of the ice, and you're in more control on the defensive and offensive zone. Wingers don't do much on the defensive zone besides cover the point.
Dude, what statistics do you have to back this up? Wingers can be just as defensive as centermen can be.
Is Ovechkin as defensive as what Crosby is, though? Let's be honest.
Not right now, definitely not.
Exactly.
When's the last time Ovi played defense, man?
Oh, Ovi can play defense.
Fundamental
I
winger.
said, when's the last time?
Probably when he was in his 20s.
Fundamental winger hockey's cover the friggin' point. Anyway, should we turn this over?
Yes, give it to Robbie. Time for the Bond spiel. Robbie Doherty in 3, 2, 1.
We're back. Season 3, episode 11. Sitting here with Robbie, or better known as Silly Robbie, I guess you can call him that.
Oh, yeah.
Serious Robert. Right now.
Serious Robert.
Serious
Bob.
Drinking out of a Central Perk mug.
That's right.
That's very serious. I got it.
About as serious as I get.
Friends got a free advertising.
Yeah, I gotta dry off my palms here.
So, break it down. First, we want to go into curling.
Sure.
Because you are a pretty talented curler.
No, I'm just very good at getting in with talented players.
Okay.
Right place, right time.
I wish I got that. I wish I had that.
10 years and 20 pounds ago, I was okay, but we're still hanging on for a while.
So tell us a little about curling. Like you've gone to the Brier 4 times.
Yes.
You've gone to Grand Slams 4 times as well.
Yeah.
You were big in the junior scene.
Yeah. I started curling late. I didn't start curling until I was 16.
16. Wow, that is.
Yeah.
I started curling in grade 1, so.
Well, I took a look in the mirror and I was wearing a Zellers Red Wings jersey, so I didn't figure my hockey career was going anywhere. That's house league for all you who's And I'll be honest, like hockey was fun, but it was and it was just hockey was something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I always loved curling. I always loved watching it on TV. I was one of the very rare few who understood the game at a young age. Like I wouldn't say strategy so much, but just how it worked, and I was able to grasp what was happening in the ends. So it was exciting to me. Where someone who perhaps doesn't know the game, it's not the most exciting sport.
It's hard.
The same could be probably said for baseball or football for those who don't know what's happening. But
Yeah.
for others, it's like the most exciting. Like if my dream afternoon is a August Saturday, and watching the Jays. So, but for my wife, she has no idea what's going on. So,
well, that's like anyone who cares about the sport knows that like one pitch you can watch. Man, that broke a lot. Like when you're curling, like look at that one shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for people that don't know, what position did you play?
Most of my men's career, I played lead. So that's explains my massive.
I mean, I played lead too, and you can see I'm not in the same shape as you. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe I didn't sleep hard enough.
No.
Do you need the extra sleeves in the Hawaiian?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to get the sleeves let out a little bit.
Yeah. Get some room in there. Out of juniors, Briers, we've already listed your resume. What sticks out the most to you?
Grand Slams.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grand Slams.
Why is that?
I think just for Taylor knows me a little bit perhaps better than you guys, but I'm a very unique person.
Passionate guy.
Passionate guy.
Yeah.
If I like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If Robbie, I always make a joke. Robbie has 2 gears. He has I am going to do whatever I can to be the best, and nothing's going to stop me. Or I just could not care less. And curling is something that it kind of got that next gear for me. And if you look at the Brier, nothing against the Brier, it's one of the best Canadian traditions. Maybe behind the Grey Cup. In similar atmosphere, it's a party, but it's really just the Nationals. So PEI goes every year.
Yeah.
And if you look around, I would still say the Charlottetown Curling Club, but it's not there anymore. But any curling club, there's probably a few tables who have been to the Brier, or for ladies, the Scotties. Mm-hmm. Where the Grand Slam, it's the top 15, 16 in the world. And you got to work your butt off to get in there. Now, we were lucky that Adam had just come off a run with Gushu, so he had some CTRS points and Order of Merit points on the World Tour, so we were able to start up a little higher in the standings. But we worked hard. We had to play our way in and travel a lot, and a lot of money. I think I think our first year our budget was like $48,000. I think we had 6 in sponsorship. Starting out, we were able to pick up more, and but at the same time, that's what makes you want it more, because for these big teams, Gushu and Kui, they have $500,000 in the bank before they even touch the ice, just through sponsorship. Where for us, it's we have to play well, but that can also add pressure.
Yeah.
Because we were 23, 24 at the time. I always called us the Ninja Turtles. So we were just young and fearless, and who cares? Like, we'll never get these years back. We're here in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. It's minus 50 out, and we're curling on TV. Like, that's a pretty cool thing to be part of. And that's kind of the first time I ever got introduced to the quote unquote big teams. My first ever game in a Grand Slam was against Glenn Howard, which was really cool. Glenn is probably one of my closest friends in curling now, so it was kind of cool to have that first experience with him and just learn from him, and curling is competitive, but it's still, the social element is still there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go back, you know, you're in the dress or in the tunnel at the Brier. There's still a Red Rocks dressing room and a Yellow Rocks dressing room, but everybody just gets dressed together and talks about it. And you know, half hour before game time, everybody does their own thing. But it's, you know, it's a very social game. And you know, when you're traveling to small towns across the country all winter, you become pretty good friends. So, but I would say the Grand Slams and the Brier was very special too. And I can tell you probably, you know, my favorite memory of the Brier, that's something that will always stand out to me, was, and this comes from Taylor, you'll laugh at this, because anyone who doesn't know, I'm actually a big wrestling fan. I'm a diehard pro wrestling fan. And, you know, so my first Brier was at the Saddle Dome in Calgary, and it was cool because they drove you down the back ramp, and you get out and go in the back door, and then you walk through the hallway, and then you see the Flames dressing room and all that, and you get ready, and then, but I'll never forget it once, because you get there and your green shirts and jackets are there, and you get suited up in your new duds, and but then you follow the signs to the ice, and I'll never forget the moment because I took the curtains like back when I walked through, and it was just the Brier.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Brier. You know, if you're a hockey fan, you're playing street hockey when you're 6 years old. You know, there's always that go-to thing where, you know, this goal's to win the Stanley Cup. You know, this is shootout, you know, big save to win the Stanley Cup. Well, for me, it was always, you know, every time I'd throw rocks in my basement with croquet balls and croquet mallets or whatever, quarters on the kitchen table, it was always to win the Brier. And then anyway, the first time I kind of took that curtain back. So that was pretty cool. Just, you know, the first time, like, knowing that you're there. And this is going to happen. We're here. We're at the Brier.
Well, it's like a rookie, right? Yeah. Anytime you get to step on the ice, like you said, you're like, oh my God, I'm in like an NHL
You're
game
in the
or something.
NHL.
Yeah.
Yep.
So was that the moment then like, it all sunk in? You're like,
absolutely. And that kind of brings me to what I was going to say about wrestling is the first time I ever went to a wrestling show was Monday Night Raw, 1997.
Hey.
Showing my age. But, you know, it was the same thing. It was a dream come true. I walked in, and the ring was there, and the big stage, and this really is Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of, it was a very special feeling. But the Brier was cool, but the Grand Slams will always be my first big memory of curling.
Mm-hmm.
Quick spin around now. Instant thought. First answer that comes to your head. Greatest wrestler of all time.
Greatest wrestler of all time? Ric Flair.
Ric Flair?
Yeah.
Nature Boy?
Yeah.
Give me 2 claps.
Bret Hitman Hart is also probably the greatest wrestler, but whole package, Ric Flair.
There we go.
Right now?
You gotta go Macho Man.
I like him, but
I just love the personality.
What about the Warrior?
No.
Ultimate Warrior.
No, next question.
Do you watch any of Charlotte Flair now?
The Queen.
Yeah.
Of course I do.
There we go.
So, all active wrestlers right now, though. Who
Oh, best
Logan
one going
Paul.
right now?
Logan Paul?
You know what? He's pretty good.
He's-
Logan
yeah.
Paul is very
He knows
impressive.
how to put on a show. I'll give him that much. Like, he can definitely promote, and he knows how to get
He's
people.
literally built for that scene. Like, he
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
box worth anything. So you put him in the WWE, and he's going to be, like, the man. Yeah.
Oh, and they did a great job with him. They gave him a cool outfit. And
Yeah.
I would say if I was I think the best wrestler right now on the planet is probably AJ Styles.
There we go, yeah.
But if I'm opening a wrestling company and I need a face, I'm either going Lesnar or Roman Reigns.
I would
Roman
say
Reigns, yeah, 100%.
Right now for
As a
me.
heel.
Yeah.
Heel Roman Reigns.
Okay, so speaking of a sport that's unscripted, let's go to the moment where it's just for curling.
Mm-hmm.
When was it just, oh, I wish the gods were on my side for it?
Oh gosh, there's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Something that just didn't go well, you mean?
Yeah.
I would say, well, there's been so many of them. There's been a few times in finals where we had some pretty easy shots to win, just cash steals. And we would miss, like we had a double for 4 to win a tournament in Halifax, and won't say any names, Casey. Fired it a bit wide and took out her own, and we gave up a steal and lost that final. But honestly, the curling gods have been pretty good to me. I got to be honest, and they've been, they've been pretty good. I've had some heartbreaking moments playing in the club provincials, like the intermediates. We lost the final there the last couple of years, but you're still leaving the club laughing and good friends. So honestly, I haven't had that many.
Yeah.
No, and that's what I'm a big believer too in anything I do, whether it's entertainment or curling, that, you know, it's not supposed to be easy. You better be willing to put the work in.
Yeah.
And the great ones, you know, no matter what you're doing, the best are always working harder than you. And losing is part of sports. If you can't handle losing, you shouldn't be in sports.
No, you talked about like Howard, Cooey, and Jacobs, guys like that, and you said how you're good friends with Howard. Mm-hmm. Who would you say would be like, maybe not necessarily the toughest competition you ever faced, but who was like just a guy that you, even when you were playing against him, you just couldn't stop watching him?
Brad Gushue, yeah.
Did you feel like it didn't matter what he was or what you left him with? There's a chance he's going to make it.
Brad Gushue, and don't get me wrong, like I was kind of the worst of the best sort of thing. Like if we were getting the slams, we were in the bottom 3 teams sort of thing. So I was outmatched most games anyway, but Brad Gushue was a player where there was never a time where I felt like I was outsmarting him. You know, he just always had control when we played him. Never beat Brad. And I also got to know him a little bit, and I know what his day looks like. And there's a lot of practice rocks, and there's a lot of gym time, there's a lot of mental training. And he's just an impressive human. No matter what he does it very well. Mm-hmm. And he's somebody who, if I could take, you know, a junior and say, here's somebody, you know, you want someone to idolize, look at Brad Gushue.
So, last thing on curling, I want to bring up Canada.
Yeah.
Because it's quite noticeable that we are falling behind in the curling world. At once, we were the most dominant country, I would say, in the world.
Yeah.
What do you feel like we are falling behind in as a professional curler, I would say?
I think there's a lot of different answers to that. I think the big shift for Canada was when curling became a full medal sport at the Olympics. That changed the whole way that the game was played, the whole way that teams form, the whole way they train. So that's where a lot of the other countries get a lot of their fundings, because they want their athletes on the podium. Mm-hmm. Where curling, it was always with the Briers, always with the Scotties, which is fine, but now it's all about the Olympics. So they have teams not just getting together for a year, but it's for 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of time to spend together. And, you know, to keep up, you know, you have to play 20 events. You know, my last year with Casey, we played 22 events. And I think 0 were in PEI and 1 was in the Maritimes.
Wow.
And I think 2 in Europe, sort of thing, and most were out west. And
So you've been around the block.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to leave you with, you know, the curling gods against you.
Yeah.
So tell us about an upset that you had in your favor.
In my favor? Oh, Brad Jacobs. You listening, Brad? First Grand Slam, first ever TV game. We were against Brad Jacobs in his hometown. And, you know, we knew we were the sacrificial lamb out there, going out to take one for the TV ratings, and hopefully Jacobs beats the snot out of us, and that's the story. But we just we took it like a normal game and got off to a good start and got an early lead and just held it and took one, forced them to one, took one. He had a shot for the win. It was a tough one. He got one, went to an extra, and Casey had the forefoot to draw to and nailed it.
And what year was this?
It was 2014.
That was one of the first national broadcasts, wasn't it?
That was our first TV game.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
first
that
TV
was on
game.
Sportsnet. Yeah.
So, that was when Brad Jacobs was... I don't want to say like he's declined, but like that was like...
That was
building up the
that
prime
was-
Brad Jacobs. Like
That was the year after he won the gold.
Yeah, so like
Wow.
he was on top of the world then, and
Yeah.
to do that must have felt like
Yeah.
we were on top of the world type deal.
But at the same time, we were just young and fearless. What do we care? We're just going out and throwing rocks.
true.
We worked hard. You
What's
know,
that feeling too, like when you can say like I've played a game on Sportsnet? Like you've been
It's-
televised on one of the biggest sports broadcasting.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Like it's I'll be honest, once the game starts, you don't really notice.
No.
You try not to swear as much. You try not to. But
Does the mics affect your game?
no, you don't even notice them. And if something is going wrong, they'll come out and tell you. It's a little different because, you know, it's a TV show. It's not so much a curling event, so you can't just, the end is over. I play lead. Say we score, so we throw first. I can't just go grab a rock and get the end going. They have a producer out there with an earpiece counting you down for commercials, that sort of thing. And but honestly, like, so that's, I'm sure we'll talk about this later, but that's where I work now, is with the Grand Slams. And you learn that I think there's a little over 100 people on staff at each event, and that's everything from TV crew, truck drivers, to the management team in it, but it's a really tight family.
Yeah.
So it's a really good atmosphere there. And then it's funny, since working with the Grand Slams and getting to know everybody really well, I played the Brier in 2019 in Brandon, and they were so funny because they're right there. The cameras are right there, so you miss a shot, and the guy behind the camera will go, "Nice shot, Doherty. Only 20 feet heavy," something like that. And at the Brier, when you're done, if someone wants to interview you, there's little chits, like pieces of paper, for media requests, and it tells you who wants to interview you and where they're from. And I laughed because I had like 4. And I was like, "Who wants to talk to the PEI lead?" Anyway, so I walked into the media room and I was like, "I'm here," and everyone just kind of looked at me. And I said, "What's going on?" And then I checked the sheets. The reporter, Ben Dover, Oliver, close off. And I was just like, "Oh!" And I walked back out, and they were all waiting for me. It was all put on there by cameramen, and rare time where I let my guard down, they got me.
Last name Janus. First name you. Yeah. So, not your first experience. Well, maybe your first experience with national broadcast, but now it's a part of your life.
Yep.
Yeah. So, when did broadcasting really become full effect for you?
Well, I've always been an entertainer. That's the thing about me is no matter what I'm doing, and this is my own theory. Excuse me. Feel free to disagree, but no matter what you're doing, whether you're singing for an audience, in my case, it's either adults or kids, broadcasting a hockey game, doing the in-venue stuff at the Eastlink Center. No matter what you're doing, you're entertaining an audience. People paid to come to this event, and they expect to have fun. So it all comes from that same spot, even though it's a totally different skill. Singing, "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" to a power play goal on Max 93. You're still trying to generate that positive emotion. Whether people are just dancing and singing along, or their team scores in overtime to win. It's that emotion that they're looking for.
So it's like whether it's hyping Colton up for a goal, Cotton Eye Joe dance, or on the Grand Slam of Carolyn.
Exactly. People paid money for something to do that night. And it all comes from the same spot. The big thing I always try to do is really try to recognize who my audience is. Why did they come here? So if you're playing at Baba's or the Trailside, there's probably a lot of music fans, because it's more of a listening hall, where if you're just playing at the Old Dublin on a Saturday night, people are just out on a Saturday night and they want to dance and have fun. So you got to change. It's just like the delivery, whether if I'm doing the in-venue stuff at the Islanders games, if you don't know enough to change your delivery, if the Islanders are, your first hit after they scored 3-2 late in the third versus they're getting pounded 7-0, you're not going to do very well. So the audience will always tell you what they want. You just have to learn how to listen. If that makes sense.
You're still getting paid. You still got to be there.
Exactly.
When you're getting pounded 7-0,
it's hard.
Attendance is a quarter, an eighth full.
Yep.
What goes through your head? How do you just...
Because no one wants to be there.
How
do you just keep the energy up? Yeah.
I think, kind of what I said earlier is that, I have 2 gears. And when I am hired to entertain, I naturally usually go into that big, that top gear. And even though there's, say 1,500 people there, it's 5-0, crowd's leaving to get beat the parking, they still pay to get in. And you still have that responsibility to work just as hard for them. And, if Stevie Gallant, sorry if there is a Stevie Gallant out there, but, he brings his 6-year-old boy to his first hockey game, and unfortunately the boys are not on their game that night, and it's not going well. That's still a big night for them. And, gas is through the roof, groceries are through the roof. It's not cheap to do things anymore. And I think that, honestly, I feel a lot more pressure on myself when they're losing, because it's they paid to get in, and they still should have a fun time. So, I always change my delivery where if, you look at last year, we had probably the greatest team we've ever had in Charlottetown through the history of hockey here. It was easy because most nights we were, smoking the other team.
The fans loved it. The boys loved us.
Into it. Yeah, and it was just naturally kind of, I was spoiled. I'll use that word, spoiled. Mm-hmm. And then especially late in that playoff run. But at the same time, it's like if you don't recognize that you have to change your delivery, then you're probably not cut out for the entertainment business. People will always tell you what they want. Yeah. Just remember that. They always will let you know.
Because it's like Jim Holden has to worry about 20 guys on a bench. You got to worry about 2,000 to 3,000, maybe even 3,500 people in the Eastlink Center on a good night, and what their reaction is going to be like to not only the game but to how you're going to be addressing them.
Yeah, but I think that's just a difference in personality. You know, Jim only has to worry about 20 people, but it's 20 very skilled hockey players who are teenagers balancing life and school. I couldn't do that.
No.
But Jim Holton, unless he has some hidden talents, I don't know Jim very well, but I don't think Jim would do very well with a microphone in front of 3,000 people screaming in a cold suit. So it's just skill set, and that's, I don't know why I came out of the womb like this. My parents are very quiet, but it's just always been a natural thing for me.
When did it come full effect that this is what you wanted to do, if not curling at a professional level?
Well, to answer the curling question, it's not that I didn't love curling, but I just didn't love curling. It was fun. I've been all over the world. I've been to every province, competed against the top, which is cool. Curling's a sport where most hockey players are not going to play against Wayne Gretzky, but curling, you probably will eventually play one of the big teams, and that's always a big memory for a lot of players, especially younger players. But I wasn't addicted enough to put in the time that it took to be the best. I talked about Brad Gushu and his work ethic. Brad Gushu is not addicted to curling. He's addicted to training. And that's what makes him so good. Now, on the other side, in the broadcasting side of it, I will go back and listen to my calls and listen to, whether it's play-by-play or this or that, and I am addicted to it. And even my music career, I never stop working. There's always ideas coming in my head or something that I think could work, and it's just naturally that's just my passion, and I'm lucky enough to be able to.
Well, like you said, you're not addicted necessarily to training or something. I see what you mean there. I was never addicted to playing hockey or something like that. But when you say going back to listen to your tapes and go back to listen to everything, as someone who's on the radio or broadcast, that's how you get better.
Oh, you have to. Yeah. And the big thing is you have to. I'm a big believer no matter what you're doing. If you're not good at something, find somebody who is and become their friend and learn from them. So I'm lucky enough to have, on the play-by-play side, George Matthews, who's been awesome to work with me, and we chat on the phone quite a bit, and he sends me texts at the intermissions, and he's just been awesome. And also Ed Milliken, who was executive producer for Hockey Night in Canada for a lot of years, and he produces a lot of our stuff for AUS Sports, which I do the play-by-play for, through Universal Media. And Ed is, he worked for Fox in the States for 10 years. He worked Hockey Night in Canada for over 30 years. His career, he's won 4 Emmys. This guy knows what he's doing. So if Ed tells you something or if George tells you something, they're not wrong. So no matter how great you think you are, Mr. 4 games on the radio, you're not. So listen to them and trust them. And the good thing about PEI is it's a small place, but if you can find really good mentors to help you in that field that you're looking to do well in, it's easy to access them, if that makes sense.
So what I'm hearing is you date curling, but you'd marry entertainment. So when did you know entertainment was your soulmate?
Oh, man.
Was there one moment?
No. I just, no. I was just addicted to it. I just started entertaining when I was young. There's something about just feeling that responsibility of giving people a good time, especially, if they're paying to come see you. Yeah. It's one thing if you're playing at a bar, the old Dublin or Peaks or wherever, and they're just there to eat dinner and have some fun. But if you're, a festival or I did a show at Confed Center last year, the Trailside, they're paying to come see you. So you better put the time in.
Mm-hmm. Silly Robbie did pretty good at the Confed Center.
Did pretty good?
Yeah.
We got silly.
So speaking about silly moments, is there any silly moments that you've had in your broadcasting career yet that you would like to share?
Oh gosh,
really
yes,
silly.
Absolutely. Saturday night, I meant to say the word start, and it came out shart. Aiden Northwood burst out laughing. But I mean, that's live entertainment. That's always going to happen. I wouldn't say so. My first game I ever did was play-by-play for the Islanders. Was they were trailing 5-0 with 2 minutes left, and it's like that's a long 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And someone made the joke, "Wow, I've never heard a 5-0 game so exciting." For the first time, you're just wrapped up and
Well, that's part of being the broadcaster too. Is you're not supposed to
No.
If the other team's playing great, even if you're the Islanders play-by-play, and give credit to the other team, you got to talk about it's still a good game for someone.
Yeah, and at the same time too, you work for the organization, so you know how important having loyal fans are.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to what I said. Even though they're losing, it's so easy to just try and mail it in and get it over with. But you can't. You're trying to build that fan base no matter what, and so you got to be experienced enough to know to change the conversation to something. But it just goes back to that. People paid. People are invested in this team, and you learn pretty quick that entertainment in general is a lot of smoke and mirrors. So if you're not going to nail something, you got to figure out a way to distract them up here so they don't look and see what's really going on down there. So there's ways to turn the story. Not the outing Charlottetown was looking for here tonight, but we're back on the ice Friday against Val-d'Or, and talk about the depth they have and how lucky we are to have a great GM and coach like Jim, and stick with this team because good things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we've taken up enough of your time, but we just have 5 short, quick questions for you.
Sure.
Here in our lightning round.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they're the easiest questions of the show.
Okay.
But there is some controversy, so we'll see where this goes.
Okay. Do you want short answers or long answers?
They can
us what
people
you
have given both.
Okay.
Run with it.
It can be a yes or no, or it could be, depending on what Grant wrote, it could be
Let's
a
hear
long
it.
answer.
Yeah. Hawaiian shirts or the golden suit?
Oh, Hawaiian shirt. Gold suit is hot. Gold suit in January, February, March, but the rest of the year.
Yes.
And why?
Because it's a lot more comfortable.
Bit more room for the muscles. Eh?
Where'd you get the golden suit?
Muscles. Joel Ives.
There it
It's
is.
Joel Ives, which is I think the suit is still at Stern's laundromat. I picked that up, just getting dry cleaned.
He probably got that back in his heyday.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So you called it in-venue entertainment, but I just simply call it hype man.
Hype man.
So would you rather be the hype man or the play-by-play?
Oh, gosh, depends on the night. I think play-by-play.
Yeah?
Yeah, I enjoy play-by-play. I enjoy finding the stories and talking about the stories.
Play-by-play, would you rather be actual play-by-play commentator or play-by-play color guy?
No, play-by-play commentator.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to, a lot of people, I used to be a recruiter for Holland College, and we had the police academy.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a lot of high school, 16, 17-year-old boys coming up to me saying, I want to be a cop. And, I really wanted to ask them, why do you want to be a cop? Because in their mind, it's because I want to shoot bad guys all day and speed. I'm like,
Cops and robbers.
the chances are your first couple of years, you're going to be directing traffic at a 5K run.
Getting the donuts and the coffee.
Well, yeah, and it's not what you think. So everyone here's play-by-play guy, and they shoot. All they think about is scores and what a save, and that is part of it. You do get chances, but
There's
it's like a
59
split
other
second
minutes,
for once a game.
Yeah.
There's 59 other minutes that you gotta look around and you gotta be on your game, and you got people in your ears the whole time. It's a totally different skill, but I think that I'm a lot better as a hype man, but I'm a lot more addicted to play-by-play.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I commit to it over the next few years, I'm capable of getting where I want to be. But it'll take a lot more work.
It takes the time, yeah.
Yeah, and again, going back to George and Ed, having them.
Well, yeah, like you said, you don't get to 3,000 games in the snap of a finger.
No, you're in good hands.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of George. Great guy. And Corey, too.
And Corey, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shocker.
All right. Brings us to our next question. Would you rather do hockey or curling play-by-play?
Hockey.
Yeah.
Hockey.
Just because the energy?
Yeah, I think so. And I think
Bit more to go
I
off.
get very frustrated when I watch curling. I'm doing the play-by-play for some Canada Games curling coming up, which I'm looking forward to. But no, I would say hockey, because even though I am the play-by-play guy, I still have that natural hype man in me, and there's hockey's very fast, and there's lots of hits and saves and chances, and I just like watching hockey.
So would you compare curling? I just want to know. Would you compare curling to golf in terms of play-by-play?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
that's when I think about curling, like play-by-play. That's exactly where my mind goes to. Like you have to be kind of quiet, like, and he's gonna make the shot.
Well, and
set up for the shot.
The other thing too to add to that is curling, golf, bowling, darts. They're all sports where you have the rock in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
You have that ball in front of you. You have control. Hockey, you don't know where the puck is.
Yeah.
Basketball, you don't know where the ball is. Soccer, you don't know where the ball is. So you got to be watching all the time, and it has a natural rhythm to it, where curling, they're in the hack. And don't get me wrong, there is time where Vic Rowder from TSN does an amazing job at if they're sweeping one and they have to go, it's Doherty, it's Stewart, they're sweeping it, need the button. Like there's ways to put excitement in.
Yeah, exactly.
And our play-by-play man, Rob Falch, who's been another big inspiration for me. He's worked with me a lot too. He does a lot of CHL hockey for Sportsnet, used to. And, they no matter what you're doing, you'll find a way. Mm-hmm. If you're truly committed and you really understand your audience, you'll find a way to make it exciting.
Yeah. All right. Our last two questions are on atmosphere alone.
Yep.
Born and raised here.
Yep.
Which had a better atmosphere, Rocket games or Islander games?
Oh, Islanders. Not even close.
No. Okay, I had to know.
No.
Not from here. I'm curious, just as our viewers are.
No.
Although the Rocket had a better mascot.
Yeah, and I just think that the branding and the name, it just suits us a lot better, and the ownership group has really done a great job of bringing a local perspective into it, and there's some smart people around that table and a great organization and very passionate staff at the Islanders. Jason McLean, best in the business, and he's really committed to that team, and the Islanders organization really deserve a lot of credit, I think, and I really enjoy doing the games.
You gotta eat, breathe, and love hockey.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of atmosphere, which had a better one? Maybe a throwback here too. Trade wins or factory?
Factory.
Really?
I'm too young for trade wins. Not that old.
Okay.
Although I will say, July Saturday night at Peaks back in the day, that was rocking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Peaks or factory?
Peaks.
Okay.
In its
I
prime.
think it's peak still to this day.
Yeah, and they used to have bands.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have a DJ now, but there's nothing like it used to.
Live music will never not triumph DJs, in my opinion.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah.
And how long is this podcast?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I have a lot of respect for good DJs who really put the time in, but I'm with you. Live band for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Well, shout out to our sponsor once more. You can catch DJ Method at Factory Fridays and Saturdays nights.
That's actually me. I just go by a different name.
He puts a beard on, throws an earring in. Yeah. He's DJ Method now. Anyway, Johnny, you want to tell the folks where they can find us?
I mean, they should know by this point, but
They should. In case you don't know, listen to this guy right here.
you can find us on YouTube where you're probably watching this. Waterboyz podcast, and then on Apple Podcasts and
Holy.
Spotify. I took a week off. It's
Do you
rusty. No, apparently I don't know. Instagram _Waterboyz_media, an official Waterboyz podcast, and then Twitter and Facebook as well. And I know that was pretty rough, but you know what? It was a week. It was a week and a half, and just cheers to be back. But
That
Grant,
was as rough as cardigan roads.
Grant, you can send us out here today on this Sunday evening.
Just a second. Remember what I said? How important preparation is.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
What is in that Waterboyz glass?